Hello sports fans, welcome to Sports Banner 38. This is Coach Carroll, and today's video we're going to be talking about a UFC fight coming up in December. I believe it's UFC number 28, or I'm sorry, 30. Just give me 1 second, just to be clear on that. Okay, UFC 31 is what it is. It's going to be Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. And in my opinion, this is the absolute best fight that the UFC could put on at this moment if you're talking from a competitive standpoint. These guys may not be the most marketable like Conor McGregor or some of the other guys on the roster, but as far as skill and ability and the way they fight, stylistically, everything adds up to be a phenomenal fight, and I'll get more into that in just a little bit. I'm not going to go over this whole card. I'm just going to talk about the main event and the co-main event. The co-main event is Valentina Shevchenko defending her title, 125 title, against Joanna. I'm not sure how to say her name. It starts with a J. We call her JJ. Us hardcore MMA fans. I'm not even going to try because I don't want to butcher her name. Anyway, that is a phenomenal co-main event as well. That is a women's fight that could carry a card, but you know, with the main event we got, those two combined make a really good card. Just going in a little bit more on the Holloway and Ortega. Max Holloway, of course, he's the UFC champion. He's defended his title two or three times. I know he's defended it twice against, or he won it against Aldo, then he defended against Aldo. I can't remember if he's got another defense in there somewhere or not. At any rate, at 145, he is an absolute beast. 19-3. His 3 losses coming to Conor McGregor. Trying to remember who else he lost to. Michael Johnson, maybe? No, it wasn't Michael Johnson. I'm thinking of Ferguson. He kind of reminds me of Ferguson, though, except, you know, a 145-pound version of Tony Ferguson. Very versatile guy. He's good on the ground. He's got good jiu-jitsu. You know, he's fast-paced, very intellectual fighter, high fight IQ. He wears his opponents down. Then he pretty much has his way with them after the 3rd round or so. Then moving on to Brian T-City Ortega. He is 14-0. Very strong guy. Excellent jiu-jitsu. The guy does everything right. I mean, he knocked out Frankie Edgar with a vicious uppercut, lifted him off the ground literally, and I mean, that was just amazing watching. And if he can get the guillotine on you, chances are you're going to tap. He's very good with that guillotine. And going to look at their wins, 47% TKO for Holloway. He's not a one-punch guy, one-punch knockout guy, but he wears his guys down, kind of like Muhammad Ali. He'll batter you and eventually he'll get it stopped or what have you. Probably he has more wins by TKO than he does KO. For Ortega, it's 21%, but you know, that's a little misleading just due to the type of fighter he is. He can put you out if he needs to. He's more of a power striker, but he's very well versed on the, you know, standing up, doing boxing and all that good stuff. Moving on, submission, Holloway by 11%. He's got skills to sub. He just don't always do it. He's a ground and pound guy. He outdoes guys on the feet. Then you go to Ortega, 50% sub. The guy's an animal on the ground. If there's anyone who can defend the submissions, it would be Holloway. Like I said, he's very skilled. He is not quite on Ortega's level. I think he is probably good enough to defend, but his offensive game as far as submissions probably is not going to be much of a factor, just due to the high level of Ortega. Then you go to decision. You got 42% from Holloway, 29% for Ortega. The more times than not, these guys are going to finish within the 3 to 5 rounds or whatever the case. Average fight time, about 12 minutes for Holloway, just under 10 minutes for Ortega. Of course, Holloway has a higher he has a higher data pool. Basically, he's been fighting longer. He's got more fights. But I'm sure that probably figures in some. Then you go to knockdown average, 0.56 for Holloway, 0.66 for Ortega. Ortega, like I said, has a little more power, so that's no surprise there. Let's see, moving on. Significant strikes landed per minute, 6 for Holloway, 3 for Ortega. That pretty much tells the story behind the high output of Holloway. He strikes more. He's a little bit more diverse. Very skilled striker. Ortega usually is going for the takedown, so he doesn't quite strike as much, but he is very capable. Significant strikes also reflects the landed per minute. You got 44% to 32% for Ortega. Absorbed per minute, 3 to 5. Holloway's a little more of an elusive fighter. Ortega's a little thicker, not quite as quick, but still a good quick fighter for his size. Then you got defense, 65% for Holloway, 56% for Ortega. Once again, that reflects the type of fighters and strikers that these guys are. But like I said, I feel like this is the absolute best fight that the UFC could put on. Now let's take a look at grappling. We got takedown accuracy, which is they both got their takedown average. It's got at 0 per 15 minutes. I think that might be wrong. I don't quite understand why they got that on there. It's from the UFC website. So takedown accuracy, it says 80% for Holloway, 14% for Ortega. I would think that would be reversed, but I guess not. Then we got the takedown defense, which is 83% for Holloway, 58% for Ortega. Once again, I would think that would be flipped, but those numbers could be, situational or circumstantial or what have you. But both of these guys are good when it comes to takedown defense. Submission average per 15 minutes, 1 for Ortega, 0 for Holloway. Like I said, he doesn't typically win his fights from submissions, although he is capable of submitting. Now, getting into this fight, I want to talk about the pace, the style. Holloway and Ortega both are fighters that both will bring it, and Holloway he's an aggressive fighter, like I said, and Ortega he's aggressive as well. They're both going to be pushing forward. This fight is basically a fight that the fans will enjoy. They'll appreciate the high pace. They'll appreciate two fighters pushing forward, and then on top of that, you add the skill level of these two. I feel like these two are two of the most skilled fighters in the UFC. So all those things combined makes for a wonderful fight, a great event, and like I said, I believe this is the best fight the UFC could have made. I believe a few months ago when they tried to have this fight, it was the best fight that the UFC could have made, but due to some sort of illness or something like that for Holloway, the fight had to be postponed. I'm glad Ortega decided to not fight and just wait it out, because I didn't want this fight to be tainted anyway. If he come out and got caught and took a loss, it would take a little bit of the excitement and the hype off this fight, which I think would be an injustice to the UFC and all of us fans. And I'm extremely excited for this one, and I believe this is like I said, I believe this is the best fight on the card in the UFC at the moment, the best fight that they could have possibly made. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree this is the top fight the UFC could make, just based off of not like marketability or hype or anything like that, but as far as skill and two fighters facing each other, do you feel like this is the best fight that the UFC could have made, just like I do? If not, just tell me why, and let's get a discussion going. If you think another fight is, then go ahead and name that fight. I'd love to hear it. And that's all I got for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, comment, and hit the subscribe button down at the bottom if you have not already. That way we can get some live discussions going. When I start a live stream, you'll be able to chime in or tune in and then answer questions or talk or discuss. You know, that's what this channel is all about, sports banter. I want everyone coming here to talk about sports, and MMA is one of my favorite topics. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, please hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. And this is Sports Banter 38. I am Coach Carroll, and I am out.